What's happening, fam? L.A.R. movement still moving. Book is entitled Lessons from a Non-Custodial Father at Amazon, Kindle, and CreateSpace. Link will be in the description box below as usual. Go get it. PayPal link there also. They asked me to put it up, so I'll put it up. Thank you, everybody, for supporting. But this video, though, this video is entitled, Is Racism Holding You Back? Being black, being a black man, you know, race comes into a lot of discussions. So to a degree, you got to ask, is racism holding me back? Like, how successful do you think you would be in America if racism didn't exist? So I want to know, like, and to the on the flip side, how fair do people think it is who are not black or who don't deal with racism? Because they say, oh, it's not a big deal. Okay. So is racism holding you back as far as your credit? Or is that your decision making and spending? Now, is that race? Because you know, the door is always open because race is always involved with everything. Like, nobody in America could just be their name, whether how plain or how unique their name is. You can't just put your name on a piece of paper or your social security number out there without your race being attached to it. So what winds up happening is, without history in America, it was like, okay, I'm not going to get this break because soon as my race pops up, somebody's going to just, you know, by happenstance, make sure I don't get a fair shake. And, you know, people who are not black, they're like, does that really happen? And you got to ask, is racism holding us back? Because on one end, there are plenty of instances where it's not racism. And on another end, there's plenty of instances where it is racism. You know, because when it's not, you might apply for something, you might not be qualified. That's not racism. That's you not qualified. You know, but you might be qualified, but you don't get an interview. You don't have to get hired, but you don't get an interview. And you come to find out other people who had the same qualifications as you got interviewed. You're going to be like, probably racism. Or you find out people who are less qualified than you got an interview or got hired. You're going to think racism. Same thing when people get on a job. How people go up the ladder. Is it racism? Maybe they just apply for jobs that you wasn't looking for, apply for positions that you didn't want. That could be it, you know. Or it could be racism. Like, and I say it this way. You know, even as a black man, even black women say, you know, they apply for jobs knowing that black men won't get them. So if, you know, if black women know they can get a job that I can't, even though we apply for the same job because they're a woman, you know, they capitalize on their gender, but also racism, because they know if I'm applying for a job with a black man, I'm gonna get the job. They're not gonna hire him. So that's kind of built in, and I'm making that statement for people to say it is what it is. If you're an entrepreneur, does race really come into the equation? I think money and business acumen come into the equation. Excuse me, I'm sorry, I'm tired. If you got the money, you got the guts to do it, you got the know-how, I doubt that, you know, you're going to deal with much racism. But You can have the money, the know-how, and the guts to do it, and find out you're getting overcharged or underserved, or you have to make, no matter how professional you are, you might wind up having far more obstacles built in than other people. And when you have business conversations with people, you realize they don't deal with the same things that you deal with. It could be racism. Like, I had a friend passed away. He bought into a franchise, and because he bought into the franchise, he's sitting at the table with everybody who owns different franchises in the city. There's only two brothers in there, right? Two black people, is two black men. And they asked him why don't he take this particular location? Nobody in the room wanted this particular location. So they wanted to dump this location off on him. And he cussed everybody out, basically. Like, oh, so y'all think I'm that stupid one. Like, I'm going to come in here and y'all going to give me the location that's the most dangerous or non-profitable, and see if I can make magic happen with it. Right. Because could it be he is the new guy? Or could it be race? Because there was another brother in the room, but they just had to, which one would you pick? He wasn't having it, I know that. So, also when it comes to, some things happen in life because of your work ethic. And if you have a great work ethic, something's going to happen. You're going to be consistent, something's going to happen. But for a lot of people, people feel like even with a good or great work ethic, you really won't get your just due. And you'll say that's because of race. Now the problem with that is there are a lot of people who work hard. And what happened, and you can compare your work ethic to all other groups of people, to their work ethic. Now you can see for yourself who's how's that working for everybody, because that's one of the things in life. You can have two people with two completely different races working exactly the same and wind up in the exact same space. Then that's not race. That's just, you maxed out or where you at that particular time. Other thing, when it comes to work ethic, if that could be a class thing, because maybe you came from a higher class than a person, so you don't have to work as hard. Maybe you benefit from nepotism, so you don't have to work as hard. And I think people look at that as a racial thing, because us as black people, we're not in the upper classes like that, and we don't benefit from nepotism like that. So, when it comes to, it's not what you know but who you know, we on the short end of that stick. And you would always attribute that to how America's been set up and the benefits that other people have had. Racist. So you say maybe that's racism. Could be, couldn't be. I mean, you could have actually came from a good family who just blew some money, and you can't benefit from nepotism and classism. Other people in the family did. That doesn't have to do with race. That has to do with family dysfunction. But that's for you to figure out. The other thing is this. Education is one thing, but forget education. Are you getting the breaks in life? Are you getting, are you getting momentum going? And some people get the breaks. That could be you just aggressive in life, and you know you're getting breaks because of it. You're getting things happening because you're pushing the envelope, and good things happen. Some people feel like they're just lucky. That has nothing to do with race either. You could just be lucky. The other thing, on the flip side of that, people could feel like, I'm aggressive, but I'm not really getting the breaks. Like, I see other people getting breaks, but I just don't get why I'm not getting it. Maybe it's not your time. Maybe it is race. Maybe you're unlucky. And some people are unlucky, and people look at being unlucky as a racial thing. But to me, man, you got to figure out, like, is racism going to stop you from trying to be successful? Or is racism a crutch that you may be using to say you're not as successful as you possibly can be? I mean, both things could be true, because this country is no friend of ours, but I mean, it can't hold all of us back. But it tries. So, that's this video. You tell me what you think. We out. Peace.